Okay, guys, we're going to be doing Tryhackme weaponization. So first you see this intro, and they just define what is weaponization. Weaponization is the second stage of the cyber kill chain model. In this stage, the attacker generates and develops their own malicious code using deliverable payloads such as Word documents, PDFs, etc. The weaponization stage aims to use the malicious weapon to exploit the target machine and gain initial access. And then it mentions how in the past they used EXEs as weaponization, but as we know, most anti-malware will block any EXEs from executing. Therefore, they had to get pretty nifty and start using PDFs, Word documents, and etc. to gain that initial access. And if you haven't already, check out my MSDT vulnerability video. I actually basically utilize a Word document to gain initial access there. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to be doing some similar things here. So as a means of delivering and executing our payload, therefore the task focuses on various popular and effective scripting techniques, including the Windows script host, WSH, and HTML application, HTA, Visual Basic Application, VBA, and PowerShell, PSH. Okay, and then all you need to do is deploy the machine. So we're going to go ahead and click on task 2 here. In order to follow along with task, contents, and apply the information, you'll need to start this machine. So we'll go ahead and start the machine, and it gives you some commands here so you can initiate that free RDP session. So we'll be utilizing that in order to connect to it. So let me just get connected real quick, and then we'll go over the rest of the task. All right, so as you see, I'm connected to the Tryhackme network. Okay, and whoops. Okay, hold on. Let me go back over here. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so I connected to the Tryhackme network here, as you can see, and then after I've connected to that, and by the way, if you're still using the attack box Tryhackme provides you, I've created a video where I show you how to set up your own attack box, your own Kali Linux box. Highly recommend you watch it, and you're able to just utilize it. And I mean, look at all these tools I have on my desktop here. I mean, I have all these tools that I've gained from actually doing it on my own attack box rather than using theirs, and I get to use them whenever I want. So that's the benefit, right? Anyhow, let me just go ahead and try to minimize this, remove this out of the way. Okay, here we go. So I'll make this a little larger. There we go. So as you can see here, I've put in the command they provided me. Once I input that command there, it's then gonna try to initiate a session. It's gonna ask you, do you trust the above certificate? I'm gonna click yes. And then you'll see it does the matrix here, so it could connect. I always say it's the matrix. Obviously, that's not what's happening. Of course, it's starting that X free RDP session. So we'll go ahead and move that out of the way. All right, so here we have it. And next we're going to go through these tasks. So let me bring this up here. All right, so we're ready for task 3, Windows script host, WSH. All right, so the Windows script host is a built-in Windows administration tool that runs batch files to automate and manage tasks within the operating system. And so here it provides more details. It is a Windows native engine, CSScript.exe for command line scripts, and WScript.exe for UI scripts, which are responsible for executing various Microsoft Visual Basic scripts, VB scripts, including VBS and VBE. And it is important to note that the VB script engine on Windows operating system runs and executes application with the same level of access and permissions as a regular user. Therefore, it is useful for red teamers. Now let's try simple VB script code to create a Windows message box that shows the welcome to Thim message. Make sure to save the following code in the file, for an example, hello.vbs. Okay, In the first line, we declare the message variable using dim. Then we store a string value of welcome to them in the message variable. In the next line, we use the message box function to show the contents of the variable. For more information about the message box functions, you can check that out. Here we use WS script to run and execute the contents of the hello VBS. As a result, a window message will pop up with the welcome to them message. Okay, so basically we just grab this and we will just make a new notepad document here, new text document. All right, and we'll just name it hello VBS. And then we'll after we do this, we'll execute it. Right, so I'm just gonna open this up, paste that in, save it, open up my command prompt. Well, I do it as admin, so later down the road I could follow along with these. So let me just do this as admin. Let me see if it lets me do it as admin. I really hope it does. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. So it does, and then we are in the Windows System 32, so we're going to have to change directory to C users, and I'm guessing we're logged in as Tryhackme right now. Let me check. Who am I logged in as? Default user. Yeah, we're logged in as them desktop. Okay, them desktop. All right, so we're gonna, we don't have ls here, right? So we're gonna have to do dir to list the directories there. You can see the hello.vbs.txt. So the reason it's doing that is obviously because I didn't change the view here. So I want to view file name extensions. And once I do that, I'm going to go to rename and I'm going to delete the text at the end of that. And there we go. So now what I can do is I can run WS script or WS script. Okay. Hello.vbs. All right. And then we get the little message box. And by the way, PowerShell can also do this. If you haven't seen my PowerShell video, I have a PowerShell video where I show you how to make applications using PowerShell. It's pretty cool. Just things that come up to me, I'm like, yeah, you're missing out. You got to go check them out. So anyhow, I'm going to click OK there. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's look at the next task here. It's saying, now let's use the VB script to run executable files. The following VBS code is to invoke the Windows calculator, proof that we have execute exe files using the Windows native engine WSH. So here we're just going to copy and paste this into that same hello VBS script. So we create an object of W script library using the create object. So that's what this create object is doing here to call the execution payload. Then we utilize the run method to execute the payload. For this task, we use the Windows calculator. So they're using run, and then they're pointing to the Windows calculator.exe to execute the file. We can run it using W script as follow. So W script, and then they just navigate to that. And once they run it, the calculator should open. So we'll try that. We'll try that real quick. This is going to be interesting. Let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to name this. Let me see. Did they change the name to this? Yeah, they named it payload VBS. So I'll just rename this payload.vbs. So I don't have to like make a new file. Kind of lazy. All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to overwrite whatever was in there. I'm going to save it. All right, and then we're going to do CLS, or actually, yeah, CLS. And then we're going to do dir. And then you can see it's got the, oh no, it's this extension is good. Yeah, it's good. Payload VBS. Okay. So now we can run it. Payload dot VBS. Oh, what? That's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. Huh, interesting. Okay. So what we're gonna have to do is we're just gonna have to close that out. And then I guess this is it right here. So let's open it with Notepad. And then let's go in there, overwrite the contents, save it. If you notice, I just renamed it. So, and then I run it, and then the calculator should open. And the calculator is opening up. Oh my gosh, it's infected with malware. Look at that. No one wants to do math. All right, let's do this. Another trick, if the VBS files are blacklisted, then we can rename the file .text file and run it using the W script as follows. So W script. So yeah, that's interesting. So you can actually run it even if the payload is .txt. So let's try that. We'll try running it. And in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna exit out of that. You can see I have a txt file, hello vbs.txt. And you can just right click if you need to make a text file document here. And we'll just name this one payload. .txt. Oh, it's already .txt. .txt. Yeah, we don't need that. So open this up here, paste that in, and there it is. Oh, that's the command. Oh, whoops. Hold on. All right. So for this one, you're just going to input the same code, right? You're going to input this code here. Got that. And paste that there. Save it. Come over here. And then just run this. Copy that. Come over here. Actually, I'm sorry. It's you're going to copy the one down here, right? Okay, yeah. So you're going to copy the W script and we're running that txt document. All right, let me make sure I save this. I'm pretty sure I did, but just making sure. And then I'm just going to paste that code in there. And then when I run it, the calculator opens up. All right, cool. The result will be exactly the same using the VB as file, which run the calc.exe binary. All right, cool guys. So we did that. Awesome. Let's move on. Task 4, HTML application. An HTML application, HTA stands for HTML application. It allows you to create a downloadable file that takes all of the information regarding how it is displayed and render HTML applications, also known as HTAs, which are dynamic HTML pages containing JScript and VB script. The LOL bins, living off the land, binaries, tools, MSHTA is used for executing HTA files. It can be executed by itself or automatically from Internet Explorer. In the following example, we'll use an active X object in our payload as a proof of concept to execute exe commands, cmd exe. Consider the following HTML code. So then it gives you some code here that we're going to run, and we're then going to serve this HTA up from our Python web server. And then on the victim machine, visit the malicious link using Microsoft Edge. So then they visit the Microsoft link, note attack box IP address. So that would be our IP address with the HTML link. And then we download it. And then after we download it, once we press run, the HTA gets executed and then it invokes the cmd.exe. Okay, so we don't download it. Okay, so we just click run and it'll run it. The following figure shows successfully execute these cmd.exe. Okay, HTA reverse connection. We can connect a reverse connection payload as followed. So here we're using MSF Venom, Windows x64 shell versus TCP, and that's going to connect to our machine. So once they open it, I'm guessing it's just going to connect to our machine. But actually, yeah. So we're using MS Venom. It's MS Venom is going to generate that payload for us. We use MS Venom from Metasploit framework to generate a malicious payload to connect back to the attack machine. We use the following payload to connect to the Windows x64 shell reverse TCP to our IP and the same port. On the attack machine, we need to listen for port 443 using NC. Please note this port is root privileges to open, or you can use different ones. Once the victim visits the malicious URL and hits run, we get the connection back. Okay, so cool. So from our machine, we're going to set up a listener, and then once they execute that malicious payload, it will then connect to us. There is another way to generate the malicious HTA file using the Metasploit framework. First, use the Metasploit framework using the MSF console command. Under the exploit section, there is a exploit Windows MISC HTA server, which requires selecting and setting information such as lhost, lport, SR, host, payload, and finally executing the exploit. So, right. This looks like the attack box here, right? Because it's the same as the lhost. Set the payload, click exploit, it runs, and then when they visit this link here, we'll get a session, interpreter session. I think that's the one we're going to use. It's the easiest of all of them. The other ones are pretty cool. They do the same thing. So let's go with the easiest one. So let's go with this one here. So we're going to use MSF console to open that up. Now let me go with my MSF console. All right, here we go. Yep, there it is. Okay, so we'll use MSF console. All right, I'm just gonna wait for that to start up. All right, and then I'm just gonna copy this, try and do this as quickly as possible right now, because I am ready to eat dinner. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open up ifconfig here, ifconfig ton0. So let's see what IP address Tryhackme has given me. I really enjoy making these videos and everything for you guys. So let's see, 10. Gotcha. All right, I got the IP address there. I'm gonna set the lhost, and I'm just gonna paste that in there. Let me try to move this a little more to the edge so we could see both screens pretty clearly here. Okay, so got that going. Set lport. Set our SRB host. And then we're just gonna paste in that IP address for our host. So that's our attack box, right? And then we're gonna set the payload for the interpreter, Windows interpreter session here. All right, let's set that. Oh no, what did I do wrong? Okay, so I did something wrong here. Unknown variable. Let me try that again. I'm gonna have to copy this into a notepad, make sure there's no like weird text getting copied over. Oh no, I don't see any. Set payload. I think I put use. That's probably why. Yeah, I don't remember if I put set payload. Let me go check it out here. Set. Yeah, I didn't put set payload. I put set, and then I just put the yeah. So that should work there. Set payload. All right, and then we're gonna click exploit, and that should should start it up. It's not gonna exploit the machine because that's our IP address. So we're gonna have to give the victim the link, and then they click on the link, and then we get the interpreter session. So you see here it says using URL, and it provides you this URL. So then you give this to the victim, right? Copy this selection here. The victim takes this, and they do what they do best. They click on a malicious link. All right, let me click. There we go. I might have to expand this a little more. There we go. Now I can see it a little more. All right, there we go. And then you're just gonna open up Edge, click on the malicious link, run it. All right, the victim has clicked on the malicious link. Now we go over to our attack box, and then it shows that interpreter session is open. So you can see here they use the sessions. So you just click enter sessions -I1. And then now we're in the interpreter session that we have connected to the victim machine. So now you can type in sysinfo, and then you can see the system information. So we are logged into that Windows, or we are connected to that Windows machine, to our victim, right? So that's that. That was really easy, and you can use that same method for the practice area at the end. It's actually, we'll go through it, but it's pretty much the same method for that one as well. Okay, so next is task 5, Visual Basic for Application VBA. All right, so here we go. VBA stands for Visual Basic Application, a program language by Microsoft implemented for Microsoft applications such as Microsoft Word and Excel, PowerPoint, etc. VBA programming allows automating tasks for nearly every keyboard and mouse interaction between the user and Microsoft Office applications. Macros are Microsoft's Office applications that contain embedded code written in a programming language known as Visual Basic for Applications, VBA. It is used to create custom functions to speed up manual tasks by creating automated processes. One of the VBA features is accessing the Windows Application Program Interface, API, and other low-level functionality. For more information about VBA, you can check that out. Here's a task. We'll discuss the basics of VBA and the ways an adversary uses macro to create malicious Microsoft documents to follow along with the content, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here we're going to open up a Word document on the victim machine. And we're just going to exit out of this Edge browser. I'm just going to pull this up. I'm just going to type Word in here. Okay, so we'll wait for Word to open. Actually, I think they use Excel, don't they, for this one? No, they do. They use Word. Okay, cool. And then we get to click X and wait for that to start. Yep, accept it. Click on blank document. All right. And now create a new blank Microsoft document to create the macro. The goal is discuss the basic language and shows how to run it when a Microsoft Word document gets opened first. We need to open the Visual Basic editor by selecting the view macros. So view macros, macros. So view macros, view macros. Okay. Let's follow along here. So we got them. So we'll type that in. THM. All right. In the macro selection, we choose the name. Note that we're going to need to select the macro in the document and finally select create. All right, so what I did was I just select macro in document 1. You got a drop down option there. So I remember when I did this first time, I wasn't following along with it. So I kind of got lost and I was like, oh no. So here we're just going to copy this over. Or actually, I think we click create, right? Yeah, we click create. See, I'm already getting lost. All right, so click create here, and then you'll get this open up. And then, yeah, then we'll just basically overwrite this with macro. All right, and then we're just going to click F5 to run it. And then we click run, and then boom, welcome to weaponization room. Got him. All right, cool. So that was cool. You've seen a little box, right? So F5 run, and you get that. Now, in order to execute the VBA code automatically once a document opens, we can use a built-in function such as auto open and document open. Note that we will need to specify the function's name that needs to be run once the document opens, which in our case is THM function. So basically, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do it automatically when you open the document. So it's important to note, to make the macro work, you'll need to save document in the macro enable features such as and I think for this one, Word 1997 2003 template would work the best, where the macro is enabled by going to the file, save documents. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna paste this in, write the code that they gave us. I'm going to save it. I am going to choose the 1997 through 2003, and then we are going to name the file THM. If you don't see the doc at the end, it's probably because you didn't enable the extension. So I would recommend you do that, even on your own computer, because it's important to see those extensions sometimes, you know? Okay, let's close the Word document, save it, reopen it. The Windows Word will show a security message indicating the macro has been disabled and give us the option to enable it. Let's enable it and move forward for the results. Okay, so let's save this here. I'll save it on my desktop. Here we go. Okay, and then we're gonna just save that, close it out, and then save that, and then we're gonna close this out, and then I'm gonna reopen it. And we're just gonna click X through that. It's gonna say macros have been disabled. We're gonna say, heck yeah, we wanna get hacked. And then we get the little prompt. All right, so there we go. Cool. Now edit the Word document to create a macro function that executes the calc.exe. So essentially what you're doing is you're just taking this code right here, right? And we can just create a macro real quick, right? So we go to view, macro, view macros. You can see we have this one here, THM. We'll edit the one that we've created, right? So we'll go to edit, and we can see that the document opens. The auto open will assist in opening that. Then the sub then will actually run whatever logical code we want it to run. So what I'll do is I'll just paste this in here. So we'll have it run this, which will open up the calc.exe, right? They have the POC. I don't feel like going through and having to do that, right? So them is just the name of the function, right? So we can just save this and we can just close it out, and then we can save the document and then we close it out. And then when we reopen it, it should work like intended. Yeah, see, the calculator just opened right now. The calculator just opened. I didn't do anything. It was the auto run that did it. Okay. And they just go through the process of mentioning how there is a function to auto open, a function to open the document, and a function that actually ran the them code that opened the calculator. Okay, cool. So now let's create an in-memory interpreter payload using the Metasploit framework to receive a reverse shell. First, from the top box, we create our interpreter payload using MS Venom. We need to specify the payload, lhost, lport, which matches what is in the Metasploit framework. Note that we specify the payload as VBA to use it as a macro. So MSF Venom, we're making a malicious payload. All right, and then we're going to set up our use exploit multi-handler so we can get that nice interpreter shell. And then we're gonna click exploit, and then we're gonna be waiting for them to open the document. And then once they open it, we will get that reverse shell. So that's pretty easy to do. Okay, we will go through that process, even though I don't think you need to, but we will. And just keep this all in mind so when we get to the delivery techniques or the practice area, you'll remember all that. And keep sticking with us. We're almost done with this. Literally, I think it's just PowerShell, PSH, command and control is all theory. Delivery techniques is all theory, and the practice area um, is all up to you. I mean, I'm not going to leave you on your own. I'm going to show you the answer, of course. I've never done that. Like if you watch any of my videos, I don't do that. That's not my learning style. I don't say figure it out. Yeah, no, don't do that, man. I was in the Marines, and when I was in the Marines, that's how it was. You know, just be like, hey, figure it out. And I don't like that style. Some people do. You know, some people say, oh, well, that's the way you learn. I'm like, no, that's not my style. Okay, so here we go. We are going to create that Metasploit payload. So we're going to go back over here, and by the way, I'd also recommend you don't make this full screen because then you have to exit it, and there's a way to exit out of it. You have to press like a hotkey. I'll show you towards the end of the video. I don't even want to deal with that right now, but there's a hotkey that you can use to exit out of that. Okay, and it is common sometimes that these RDP sessions will like disconnect, and if that's the case, just make sure that you run this command again. Run it as sudo, by the way. If you don't run as sudo, it's not going to work. Okay, so if you're having issues earlier, just run as sudo and you should be all good to go. All right, so I have on my desktop a payloads folder, and this payloads folder is the folder I use to stage all my payloads. Okay, it's a way for me to be somewhat organized, even though my desktop is a complete mess. So let me go to my payloads folder. Where is it? Where are you at? It's very organized. Okay, here we go. And then I got my VBA payload here. I wonder if this one has the same IP address. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter. All right, we will just open up terminal here. And I just made a folder, by the way. You could just make a folder. Just try to be somewhat organized. Don't be like me, okay? All right, and then I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to change the IP address, and I'm just going to do this on my little notepad here. And I'm going to change that IP address for my attack host. Okay, where is my, there it is. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to paste that in for the L host and throw it right in there. All right, you can leave 443 open. And I just thought about this, but this is actually pretty interesting because most firewalls will allow, 443 traffic to be to go out and to go in, right? So the firewalls might not actually catch this. Anyhow, let's go back over here. If you have any tabs open, like if you still have Edge open, make sure you close it because we're going to be using port 443. I don't want it to interfere with anything. If you have any interpreter shells, like I have one right here, just close it because we'll actually, yeah, just close it. We're going to take this from the top and then just make sure you don't have any ports listening or anything like that. You're going to run into issues. So anyhow, I'm just going to go over here, open up my terminal, and we're just going to start off from scratch. So MSF console, right? And we'll just follow along with them. Or actually, do you need MSF? You do. Okay. So we're gonna wait for that to open. And while we're waiting for that to open, we can create our payload, right? So I can go here, I can right click, I go to open terminal here. That way I don't have to navigate to the directory, it just opens up there. I can then copy over my code so I can start creating that malicious payload. Okay. It's probably gonna overwrite that payload document I have there. That's fine. I'm just gonna do that, boom. And it should just overwrite that. So we'll give that a second. Looks like it's generating the payload. Yeah, and so this one actually, I think this one's kind of interesting. Let me do something here. Let me remove this. I'm gonna move this to the trash. I'm gonna try to see if it generates the payload or it just gives me the VBA code. I think it just gives me the VBA code last time I used it. And so it was up to me to actually create the uh, the macro function, which isn't a big deal. It's like whatever. Okay, so yeah, it looks to me like we are going to have to input that code. So let me pause my camera so I can pull up my notes from last time and just run you through that real quick. All right, so if you look at the instructions here, the uh, MSF Venom will create the payload, but it makes it for a workbook, so like a spreadsheet, right? Well, we don't want it for a spreadsheet. We want this specifically for a document, okay? So there's some adjusting that has to be done here in order to make it work. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to just edit this code real quick, and I'm going to post the code in the description so you can do what you need to do, make sure that yours is somewhat similar and works. Okay, so I am simply just grabbing each line of code and I'm just pasting it over to this notepad, making sure that the auto open and all of it is the same as I did last time, which was specifically made for Word documents. It was not made for a spreadsheet. So um, let's see here. Just gonna make sure this gets done correctly. Okay, so I copy that over, and then I think you copy this over if I remember correctly. Let me try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I'll just paste it. I'll just take it out. It's not a big deal. So then I put that in there, and auto open, auto and sub. Okay, so this is the real part that you really have to change, the workbook open. So as you see, I have document open, just because this is a document. This is not a workbook. This is not an Excel spreadsheet that we're trying to mess with here. It could be, but it's not. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we are just going to save this. We're just going to then input that into our document. Submit document here. Right, we could just open this baby up here. And we'll have to change the macro name to sub, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we'll check it out. So let me just open this up. Go to view macro, view macro, edit. Actually, oh, it's called, wait, what is it called? Auto open. Okay, let me just put this over here real quick. I'm just gonna take a look at my notes here. Oh, okay, auto open. Okay, auto open. So we want to create one that's called auto open. So we're actually gonna just scrap this one. We're just gonna scrap this. Go to macros, view macros, just going to make a new one. So we're just going to name this one auto open / like that. And then I'm going to go to active. I think we could just choose that. We'll create it. That's our auto open. We'll then take the code that we have, grab that, put that in there, paste that in. No, did it not paste it in for me? Geez. All right, not a big deal. Big deal. Let me try it again. Paste. It's probably just, maybe it might be taking a while just because it's a lot of information. I don't know. So let me go back to my interpreter, my MSF Venom. Let's close that out. Yeah, all right, cool. And I mean, we just need this. We just need to change the workbook to doc, and it should work. Yeah, okay, there we go. This might work now. And we'll change that to doc. Open, auto open. Okay, cool. So now we'll save that. Okay, so that should work now. Save that again, close this out, save this. Let me go here, let me go to my MSF Venom. Right, let's follow along with the rest of this, which is to use the multi-handler. And then set the payload. You can just grab that code there, the command code. All right. Set lhost. Okay, so let's just type that in there. Set lhost and the IP address. It's over here so I don't forget it next time. Okay. So host. Okay, I'll put my host IP, so that host is your attack box. Oh, whoops. There you go. And then next, you're gonna set the L port. And then exploit. All right, and then we're just gonna be waiting for that connection back. Oh, did it open already? Huh. I think it's from that first macro. So we might have to like go into our macros and delete one of those macros. Oh, I just have so many of them. Maybe I should just remove all of them. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, we got it to work. I mean, that's what was supposed to happen. So yeah, once they open the document. Well, yeah. So this is working like intended then, because The other one we had earlier was only supposed to work if they went to the link. And this one is working because they opened the document. So that should work out. If it doesn't for you, just make sure you close the Word document, reopen it, and then that should work for you. Like I said, I will put this in the description for you to follow along with. If you run into any issues, let me know in the comment section so I can help you out. But it worked. It worked. Okay, good. PowerShell PSH. Moving on. Trucking on, guys. So next, PowerShell file dim PS1. So we're gonna just go here, copy this, make a PS1 file with that code in it, which is just really just, it's honestly just PowerShell code. It's not even that fancy. So we'll just create a document here, text doc. We'll name this one tim.ps1. Sup, paste that in, save it, close it. So I just pasted in the commands they have here. Open up PowerShell as admin. Just right click on PowerShell, click run as administrator. Yes. And then it should open up a PowerShell session for you there. And then we will just navigate to the directory, to our desktop. Okay, so cd c/user/thm/desktop. No, what do I do? Users with an S. Okay, and then we're gonna just copy over this command here. Oh, can't be. Okay, so it says the execution policy is enabled. So usually it's enabled by default. So you're just gonna have to set the execution policy to allow basically anything to run, or you can set it to just bypass. We can just set it to just bypass for this specific file. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab this second one for the bypass, and we're just gonna run that, and then it should run for you. Right, so dim.ps1. Is that what we named ours, dim.ps1? Yeah, we did, okay. And then we run it, and then it should just work. Right, and you should get that prompt. Did I name it PS1? Let me check. Oh, gosh. Those extensions always get me, don't they? So we'll just delete the .text for some reason. I don't know why I did that. And then we'll just rerun that, and it should just run for you. Yeah, welcome to Weaponization Room, except, is that how it's supposed to do it? Yeah. Yeah, yep. So if we look at their command here, that's what's supposed to happen right there. Cool. All right, so next, now we'll try and get a reverse shell using the tools written in PowerShell, PowerCat on the attack box. Download it from GitHub and run the code. So then we're going to cd, open up an HTTP server, set up a netcat listener, and then now for the victim's machine, we'll download the payload and execute it using PowerShell as followed. And then we'll get PowerCat, and then we'll connect to the, we'll get the PowerCat PS1 over to our victim, and then we'll run it from there. So we'll get our reverse shell. Okay, cool. All right, so for this one, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna download it from GitHub. So I'm gonna just copy that link they provide you to get the app. I think I already have it though, but I'll show you how to do it. It's not a big deal. And, oh my gosh, it's like every time I extend it, it's like I just want this to come down a little bit. Let me see. Whatever. Let's go here. Let me, what is this one called? PowerCat? PowerCat, okay. Trying to think where I have PowerCat at. It's probably under payloads. No, HCA? No. That's the one we're gonna be using next. VBA? No. That's a payload I just deleted. I should have deleted that. Okay, so Windows AD. You know what? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I can just go and click locate PowerCat.git or PowerCat PS1. Okay, so here we can see it's located in my desktop. I have a folder called PowerCat. So if you never know where like the file is, you can just do locate and the file name. So if I click here, I have file cat, and then there's the PS1. So then I'm going to open up terminal from here, and then I'm going to serve up my Python 3 server. And let's do it. Ports that they give us, so 8080. All right, and then I'm going to set up a listener, another little terminal in C, and then we'll set up a listener on the port that they specified, 1337. You can choose really any port you want, but that's the one we want to use. Okay, and then we're going to copy over this code that they have here, of course, inputting our attacker IP address in there, right? All right, so let me go here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this for you guys. I'm going to do a separator here. I'm going to go down and then I'm going to input that there. Okay. So I have that set. And next thing we need to do is just get PowerCat over to the victim machine. All right. Getting PowerCat is not very difficult. You can curl it. Curling's always like not a bad idea. But in this situation, curling is just a little like much for me right now. I want to do this quickly. I don't want to go looking for anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy over some of the payload, which is to get the PowerCat file, PS1 or whatever. I'm gonna input that into Edge. I'm just gonna paste it in there and press enter. I'm gonna click open, and then here you can open the file, but actually that's not what we wanted. We wanted to download it, right? So open in folder. So you can see PowerCat PS1 is now right here. So there's actually two of them. So all I did was I just put that in the URL and I entered and it got me. This is the attack box IP, by the way. And then the port for the HTTP server, which we specified is 8080, right here. So you can see it's been pulled twice. All right. So now that we have that, what we can do is, I believe all you need to do is just run it, and then it should, oh no, okay. So you gotta go to PowerShell, you gotta go to download. So let's go to cd cd downloads. And then from here, what we'll do is we will then take the command that they have, right? And then I'll input that into PowerShell. What that's going to do is it's then going to run PowerCat and get us what we want. Get us that nice reverse shell that we're trying to get, I believe. How did I mess this up? So right here it says attack box IP. So yeah, I got PowerCat again, once more. But I forgot to input the attack box IPs, right? So we have attack box IP here for the HTTP server, attack box over here for connecting to your reverse listener, to your netcat reverse shell. So I'm just going to copy that over and run it again. And that should work. Okay, let me copy that, run it again. That should work. Okay, let me press enter. And then boom, we got it, guys. We hacked them. Yeah. They thought that was just a, PowerShell script, but that was malware, man. Actually. So here we go. We initiated, as you see, who am I? I am THM. I am Batman. All right, guys. So next we are going to command and control. So they just mentioned that there's different command and control frameworks: PowerShell Empire, Colbit Strike. PowerShell Empire, completely free. Recommend you download it. Colbit Strike costs a lot of money. Can't afford it. Metasploit, yes. C2 on a budget. Definitely good to have. That pretty much sums that up. All right, delivery techniques. So different ways you can deliver it. You can do it by email, looking people up on LinkedIn, harvesting emails, sending targeted phishing emails. Web delivery, meaning that if you have access to if you're able to upload your, malicious documents, somehow execute them, you can then get that to work. USB delivery, good old USB. Just drop one in the parking lot. Hope that they pick it up. All right, or just let your friend borrow it. All right, practice area. Here we go. So let's go ahead and terminate that first machine we had over earlier. We are done messing with that thing. We are ready for this other. We are moving on to another level here, to the extra hardcore level. So at this point, what we're going to do is we are just going to exit out of our sessions here. And this next one is going to be a little special. So let me just exit out my terminals here because we don't need these anymore. We're going to have a different IP address anyway, so you don't need them. Right. And then we're going to have to redo that so we can get our connection. I don't need this. Whatever, I'll keep that. All right, so here we have this web server that allows us to upload files. We will upload our payload, or we can input a link. Okay, so earlier when I was saying, hey, you can just use Metasploit, upload, provide your link, and then it will then connect out to your link. That's what we're gonna do because that is so fast and I am ready to eat dinner. Okay, so did it start yet? No, start the machine. All right, cool. So now I'm gonna come back over here, wait for the IP address to generate. We are going to do what we did earlier, which with the HTA, which was easy. If you want to try the other method, go for it, go for it. I actually did that one as well. But we will try this here. So, oh, yeah, actually, I do remember the HTA one. You know what? That one was pretty easy. You know what? Let's do it the hard way, guys. Let's do it the hard way. I know. I've been saying we're gonna do a shortcut, and I want dinner, but we can do it the easy way, guys. All right. So first, we're gonna set up our netcat listener. So I'll get that started. Okay. So I've set up my netcat listener to run on port 443. I've gone over here and going to desktop, and I believe I had it under payloads. HTA here. If you remember, hey, yeah, I have an HTA document there. What we're going to do is we are just going to overwrite it. So I'm going to go here, open up a terminal from here, and then going to open up another terminal. So you're going to need two terminals. One's going to be used as a Python 3 server, web server. Oh, not on that one. And we'll enter that. And then the other one's going to be used for, I have so many terminals open now. Oh my gosh, I gotta close this one out. Okay. Yeah, here it is. And then this other one's going to be used to generate our HTA shell. So here, paste it in, change the IP address if I need to, which I don't think I do. To do. Yeah, that's good. Okay. We'll create our malicious HTA document. Okay, so if we go here to the desktop, you should see a Thim HTA there now. So I had one there already. It just overrid it. Or actually, is this open from my? Oh, this is open from Kelly. This is open from. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm like, where's this open from? Okay, so let me minimize that. So this is the one that we're looking at here. As you see, I have my payload HTA file. This is the HTA file. I already had one there, but it just overrid it, and now you have another one. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we are then going to navigate to that, and then it should run it. Right, so if I open up my browser here, so I'll go to Chrome. HTTP 10.10. Oh, actually it's 2.3 or just move this over here. Where it's 8090. Did we use 8090 or did we use 80? I think we did use 8090. 8090. Let me check. Cat 443. Yeah, 8090. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. This is what we're going to input into the actual web application when we get there. We haven't gotten there yet, so I'm just going to put that in my little notepad here, getting that ready. But don't input that in your browser, guys. That's not what you need to input. So let me just open up another one because I was kind of confusing you guys there. I'm sorry. Okay, so we are going to input the IP address they gave us here. You see this IP address here, just copy it for the victim. And we're just going to input that there. Reload. Oh, 8080, that's why. So if you look at the picture, it shows you have to put 8080, right? So you have to put 8080 right here, or so it won't work. All right, so now what we can do, and this was the much harder way, guys. So please like and subscribe because, you know, this is good quality content here. And earlier, you remember I had input my attack box IP in the port, which was wrong, but that's what you need here in order to do this much harder version, right? Because we've done a PS1 doc, we've done a doc, we've done the VBS, we have not tried this yet. If I could remember here. So if I send this, see, it's just kind of sprilling around, just waiting. Hopefully this works. All right, we'll just wait for that. Oh yeah, and then another thing I forgot to do was dim.hta, right? So that's what I forgot to do. th.hta. So now if I do it, it should work, hopefully. Crossing fingers. Link has been visited. Please work. I don't know if it did. Yes, we are in, and I get to eat dinner now. All right, so who am I? And I am THM. So we got it, guys. We did it. We did it. And that's the end of the video now. Oh, actually, we need the flag, right? All right, so the flag is, let's see, let's do a cd c users thm desktop. All right, let's do dir. And there's the flag. So we'll do type. That's literally the command type flag. It's the same as cat in Linux world. And then we get the flag there. And I'm going to put the flag in the description as I do not hold back on flags. I give them to you guys because I was in one point looking for a flag and, you know, bashing my head against the wall until I could find it. And if that's the case, if that's what you're going through right now, just, you know, you could do that. Highly recommend you try out the other options that they give you there because we've already gone through them, right? So you could have tried Metasploit instead of doing it the manual way we did it. Like you could have just done Metasploit, but we did it like the harder way, right? And we're pretty thorough. We went through every single one of these. We did not skip a step. In all my videos, I don't skip a step. I know other videos, they skip steps. They use other tools. Like I try to stick to the content because that's what I paid. That's what I pay them for, right? Like, so anyhow, please like and subscribe. That's the end of this video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.